Hey everybody, I'm back. It's been a while since I've done my last broadcast. I'm doing it here in a parking lot like I used to. Um, I've got I haven't been on post for a while because nothing has gotten me as riled up as everybody has throughout the past few months. I think the last one that I did, I can't remember, but it was about budget cuts and job layoffs, and we all have to watch out. There was a lot of job layoffs that was going on. There was a lot of stuff that was being closed down. Mostly the immigration is what everybody was tackling. It was just very concerning to see how the people were reacting or not reacting or encouraging all of these mass deportations. It wound up becoming quite the spectacle, and I had to stay quiet about it because I was just losing my mind. And losing my mind wouldn't help anything. This is a show of common sense on common ground, no matter what the subject. And the subject with that was just, you guys, you've heard me for the past 2 years. Those 16 of you that have been following me, at least as far as I could tell, I only have 16 followers, so therefore only 16 people are looking in my direction. But those of you who have been following me, you know how I've always felt about this. I've always been very big in pointing out that there's no crisis, there's no invasion and all this good stuff. And now that everybody that's here is now starting to get apprehended and deported, and then to top it all off, only in Democratic states where Republican run states like here in Texas are taking total advantage of migrants through labor and all this good stuff, if not just enjoying the hate crimes against them. It's really been exhausted through my voice. But now that I brought that up, I'm going to have to talk about the migration, but I'm going to be moving on to something else. And the thing that I'm moving on to is Trump and his criminal mischief and or actual crimes and or misdemeanors and or whatever the case. The big question is, why isn't anybody really trying to press charges on him? And we're going to start with the migrant in El Salvador, the guy that was in Minnesota. He got sent over there. He's not an actual citizen. He never got a citizenship. That being said, it's that one technicality that had him sent to El Salvador. A bunch of false claims was made about him, which is a crime or punishable through the law. And here we are with the big one, defying the judge's order. So is that a judiciary crime? Is that a judicial crime? Is that a political crime? Is it both? And why hasn't anyone jumped on the opportunity to tackle the president's criminal mischief? And I'm going to be repeating that, and I do apologize, but it's necessary that I do. The Social Security. He's tampering with it to retire it by 2032. Okay, now that's a while from now, 7 years. However, to shut it all down is going to be doing a lot of harm to people. So, is that a federal offense? Or is that just another misdemeanor to be committing this kind of harm to people? Speaking of, legal but with harmful intent. The Trump's tariffs, okay? Businesses are still price gouging. They're going to continue to do that as long as he's doing these tariff wars. Even when he's not raising tariff, he put a 90-day halt, prices are still rising. So, it's not like it's not like he came this close to almost doing something bad. He's still doing something bad. Is it legal? So far, it looks like, yeah, it's legal of what he's doing. But is it the best thing to do? No, because it looks like it's doing a lot of harmful intent. Business will be price gouging. They actually are, and they still are, and they're going to continue. Everyday citizens will be financially strained. The small number, the couple of years throughout the pandemic was proof of that. Okay, from 2019 to 2021, okay, late 2019 into mid 2021, when we all finally started getting our vaccinations and started to go back out into the public, everyday citizens was feeling the financial strain. I don't know how many times I had to go to the food bank to get food. And I had to do it for my parents who were senior citizens who couldn't lift some of these boxes of food, like boxes of sweet potatoes. It's heavy for old people. And I had to do it for my sister and her family, my sister and her husband and their family, who were working but were never able to make it to the food line. So I had to do it for families of 3, and we divided it all up and all this good stuff, and then we'd divvy up and go on and carry on. But if it wasn't, we would still be leaving it for like the homeless and the vets and all this stuff. We wouldn't be in that line if it wasn't for the financial strain that we were going throughout that pandemic. And now here we are with Trump doing these tariffs. Prices are being hiked again. We're all going to be going right back to that financial strain. And that food and materials that goes to the housing and the feeding the people and all that, it's going to start being consumed by all of us, people who aren't supposed to. We're supposed to be leaving that for the homeless. Okay? We're supposed to be leaving that for the hungry. Okay? So the strain will lead to everyday citizens to poverty. That's just a given. Poverty leads to harm. It leads to more crime, whether it be organized or non-organized crime. Poverty also permits sicknesses and illnesses all the way up to diseases exist a little bit more free. Okay? The pandemic was proof of that. People weren't doing that. I was an Uber driver throughout the people weren't vaccinating. I was transporting, not in this vehicle. I had an SUV at the time. And there were these dudes coughing and hacking and it's a hoax. Passing the damn virus on to me. I got it 4 times within a 2-year time period before 2021 when the vaccinations started to get sent out. So, yeah, I mean, poverty will lead to illnesses and diseases, and it's going to be a bunch of dumbasses that's going to say it's not real and blah, 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 blah. Crime, illnesses, diseases, and financial strain, along with something like Social Security, a backup that we can no longer resort to, will lead to depression and or mental illness. It's just a fact. So you got all that, all caused by Trump's tariffs. Is it legal? Yeah, but it's also with harmful intent. Question, how do we charge that though? Where is that line drawn? Is it a corporate crime? Because we are talking about tariffs on businesses, in profiting industries. And why hasn't anybody jumped on the opportunity to tackle this crime caused by Trump, by his criminal mischief? Even if it's just a misdemeanor, even if it's just foul play, why hasn't anybody pressed charges on this person? Because according to all of these experts, there's already physical evidence of economic damage. So is it a corporate crime? And if everybody's getting in an uproar over this, of what he's doing, it's obvious that it's because he's doing something wrong. Where's that line drawn? So where's that line drawn? That's my question. Where's the line drawn? And the other question, why hasn't anybody jumped on the opportunity to tackle the criminal mischief of this president? Okay? Maybe you guys can help me out. Why is he defying judges' orders? You know, why is he tampering with Social Security, trying to have it drawn out and completely shut down by 2032 or sooner? You know, why is he doing this? And some of that might be legal. Sure, that part is because it's through policies and procedures and legislation. I get that. But how is it not opposed through criminal charges, given the fact that we all can see that everything that he's doing falls under the lines of criminal mischief to some degree or another? You see what I'm saying? Now, I watch a lot of Law and Order so I can speculate some stuff, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a delivery guy whose only proof of a certifiable education is a GED. Okay? I can't answer those questions. So I'm making this post to all of you to throw a comment in the what do you call it, in the comment section. Try to be clean about it, okay? Try not to throw dirty words or accusations or any kind of crap like that. Give solid answers, because if you're just blaming guys in high heels, that doesn't answer anything concerning the questions that I'm asking. You know, no schools and no Bibles in our school. Dude, go away with that. I'm a Christian. I have my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but I don't attend churches because Christian religious organizations, not just Christian, but religious organizations are bipolar Dobermans. I mean, they're more bipolar. They're like a Doberman would stay away from them. Okay. They're just bipolar douchebags. Okay. So leave that out of there. Answer the question with an actual answer. Okay. Here are the questions. There's two of them. Where is the line drawn? And why hasn't anybody jumped on the opportunity to tackle the president's criminal mischief? I'll understand that it's a lot of reading. However, if you can get that, if you give me that answer, go for it. I'm even going to put an email to it in case you have to send PDFs or an essay or a summary, a thesis. I'll read your theses and your conspiracy theories. But keep that conspiracy theory with what this problem is. Okay? Please do not talk about aliens, or the Illuminati. Okay? I don't care if he is Illuminati. I don't care if he's a white extremist, and I call them extremists because there's nothing supreme about any person of hate. Okay? I don't care if he's an extremist. What I want to know is this criminal mischief, borderline criminal mischief stuff that he's doing. Where's that line? And why hasn't anybody jumped on the opportunity? Is it because of the death threats? Is it because nobody's really thinking along this lines? Only a guy with a GED as proof of an education? Do you think they're waiting for an actual committed man? Because I know he's played around with the law. Remember a couple of months back, back in his first term, when he was saying, I'm going to buy that gun. He go into a gun store. He said he's going to buy a gun. He said he's going to buy that particular gun, pointed at a particular gun. And it turns out somebody else bought it and he didn't actually do it. Somebody in his crowd did or something like that. And he was under court orders not to be buying any firearms. He said he was going to. He pretended like he was going to. But when the time came for him to get arrested for doing it, it turns out he didn't do it. Where's the line on that? Is that okay? So with that gun, that was the line. But with these subjects, where's the line? And do these attorneys or even politicians, do you think that's what they're waiting for? Or do you think they're just as lost as I am? Because in my mind, if you're doing this kind of criminal mischief, borderline legal, not legal, it's gray area, yeah, you should face a fine. You should go to jail. You should be arrested, even if you get bailed out the same day. You got to pay those legal fees, no differently than any of us if we were to be doing that. Hanging around, how about, the cops are called on guys who are hanging around aerobics dancers, like those Zumba dance classes, a creepy guy hanging around there. You can call a cop on that guy. So why is this different just because he's a president? Where's that line? And why hasn't anybody jumped on that? He's an American citizen, no differently than the rest of us. If he's pushing the line, pushing the bar, jumping in the gray area, illegal, why is he should be pounced on by the law every time he does that? No differently than with any of us. So, where's the line? And why hasn't anybody jumped on the opportunity to tackle the president's criminal mischief? Those are my two questions. I hope everybody's doing fine. I'm going to try to close it up at 20 minutes. Hope all of y'all are doing okay out there. Try not to let the news go crazy. Let you go crazy. Keep looking after each other and one another. You take care. I do apologize for all the noise. It's kind of a busy Friday right now. At the time of this recording, it's a busy Friday. Yeah, I just want to keep saying hang in there. We've got a long way to go before we could get back to normalcy, which is what all of us Democrats wanted once Harris stood up. And we should really take a look at the ones that want to keep Vance from advancing to presidency and all this stuff, because he's turning out to be this worthless douche also. I mean, I haven't seen him do a solid thing except parade around in front of a jail in El Salvador. Okay. That's about it. This guy is just a worthless douche. So we'll catch y'all later. Y'all take care. Take it easy. Haven't posted in a while, so I haven't read or heard anything for a while. I hope all of y'all are doing well, and I hope y'all keep taking care, okay? I'm Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.